Hi, friends. As those of you who live in Licking County know, there are a lot of deer around here. And not just in the country. We live in the heart of Granville, and the deer are constantly eating our flowers and our hostas and pooping in our yard. We have even had them come up the steps and onto the back porch. I took this picture from our living room window last Saturday. It's a young deer eating our neighbor's foliage. The deer stayed in our lawn for a long time. After its leafy meal, it lay down and took a nap next to our grill. We kept an eye on it, and after its nap, we noticed that it was standing at attention, focused on something behind our garage. Upon investigation, that something was our neighbor's cat. The cat was all the way on the other end of the garage, lying in the grass nonchalantly as cats do. The deer was on high alert, and it kept stomping the ground, trying to scare the cat away. The standoff lasted a long time, and ultimately, the cat won. We had to laugh at how silly it was for the deer to be afraid of the cat. My wife Sharon and I were talking about how often some of our fears probably seem silly to God. Now, just as we had a bigger perspective and knew that even though the deer was frightened by the unfamiliarity of the cat, it really was all okay. God's perspective is so much bigger than ours, and even when we encounter what is unfamiliar or uncertain or scary, God knows that we'll be okay. Now, I'm not minimizing our fears. We face some pretty frightening things, like war and natural disasters, illness, injury, sorrow, and loss, just to name a few. And I don't think God minimizes our fears either. God empathizes and understands. God also knows that if we stick with Him, our fear has no real power. Over and over in the Bible, God says, sometimes Himself and sometimes through angels and prophets, "Fear not." Now, I don't know about you, but I need to hear that over and over. Sometimes I'm afraid of big things like nuclear war, and sometimes little things like embarrassing myself in public. There have been times in my life when I've been afraid that I wouldn't be able to pay my bills, and times when I've been afraid that I was failing as a parent. In all my fears, past and present, I've never been afraid that God has left me. There have been many times when I've wondered where God is hiding, but I've always trusted what He said. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom. Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last. I am the living one. I was dead, and now look, I am alive forever and ever, and I hold the keys of death and Hades. Have courage, friends. God is with us. Thanks for listening. I'll see you again next week.